Good afternoon, Facebook Lives for Eastbourne Chiropractic. So I wanted to talk about something today that a lot of people, since I've been coming back into the clinic, have really been struggling with, and it's a topic that keeps coming up pretty much daily for me at the moment. And this is, I don't know what's going on, but this is getting worse. I don't know why, but this is getting worse. And there's a lot of people that are going, well, do you know what? My back pain, my neck pain, my shoulder pain, my inflammation, whatever the problem is getting worse, but I do not feel like I am doing anything. I'm not doing anything, but things are getting worse. I had a gentleman who's having a very serious problem surrounding his family and cannot understand why his pain levels keep fluctuating so much. And this conversation, I have this on a super regular basis because it's so common, especially now, which is this feeling of overwhelm and stress. Honest to God, I cannot tell you how much this has an impact on the way our patients feel and the way that people function. Now, let me just explain this in a little bit more detail, because our brain is really only kind of split into understanding two things: fight and flight, and rest and digest. Now, when we shift between those two properly, this is what we call homeostasis, which is our ability of balance our physiology within inside of our body by controlling our lifestyle factors. And as a result of managing our lifestyle factors, we'll actually start to manage the way that the physiology works so that our body can process what's going on in our environment. Now, interestingly enough, stress is one of the biggest, or has been linked to be the biggest cause of disease on the planet. And this is recorded by the World Health Organization. Stress is the biggest cause of disease. Now, when we look at stress, it can be really split down into three main areas. And this is basically the whole premise of what I teach to every single one of my patients in order for them to actually change their physical health. And honest to God, if you could only learn how to manage these three areas, 99.9% of people on the planet would be able to manage, control, or reverse their diseases or problems in their health if they could manage these three areas. And it's physical stress, chemical stress, and emotional stress. If you can manage those three areas in your body and in your life, you will, honest to God, you will unlock all the secrets to actually empowering and changing your health. Now, the thing that I'm seeing the biggest changes with my clients at the moment is increased emotional stresses. I can't see my family, or my family are, we're too close together. We've been locked in the same house with each other for X number of weeks, and I feel like my stress is going up. I can't go to the gym, and this is like basically the whole of my life, so my stress is going up. And so what we're seeing is the volume, or my job, my finances, they're all rising at the moment. And actually the volume of stress that we've got in our life is probably at an all-time high in comparison to where we've potentially been in the past. Now, all I want you to do is think about a point in time or a point in your life when you were the most stressed. You think about that point, right, in your life where you were most stressed. And the first thing you'll notice is that even thinking about the time you were most stressed in your life, the chances are you felt a flutter as where your heart sits, as your heart rate starts to change. So even just thinking, if you think about the time that you were most stressed in your life, I can almost guarantee you it will start to change the way that your heart beats. It will actually increase the rate in which your heart beats. And the reason why we know is that our thoughts, the way that we think, the way that we feel, is directly ingrained into the way that our nerves process information. And as a result, the way that the nerves will then send information to our organs, and how our organs will then react to that. So say, for example, if we think about the most stress point of our time, and I've just used the example, if you think about your heart, the first thing you're going to notice is that if you're in a moment of stress or high stress, or something around you is stressing you out, your heart rate is going to increase. Your breathing rate, you have that short, shallow breathing, but it's just very fast. Your digestion actually dramatically drops down, which is why people that are under chronic stress for long periods of time will actually start to see changes in their gut health as well, and how well they digest. They might get indigestion, or they might find that they start to develop issues like celiac disease as a result of being in a heightened state of stress all the time. And so if you're in a heightened state of stress all the time, it is going to have an effect on your physiology, the way that your biology in your body starts to work, which is going to start to have an impact on our chemical balances. And also it's going to start to have an effect on the physical functions of our organs. Now, I'm going to go back to the heart because the heart is something that's really easy for everybody to obviously understand. But if you think about your heart and you put a lot of stress on it, your heart is essentially a pump. And if we said that your pump has got a finite, like most mechanisms on the planet, if you have a car, it's going to manage so many miles, like your heart is going to manage so many pumps. Now, if you're putting a lot of stress on your heart and you're forcing that heart to work harder than it naturally needs to, what do you think is going to eventually happen? You got it. Eventually it's going to run out and it's just not going to be able to do its thing anymore. So we need to understand the effects that stress has on our body, what we can do about it, because there are things that we can do about this. There are things that we can certainly do to manage and control our homeostasis and control our stress patterns and break those cycles. And actually, interestingly, a gentleman that talks about this incredibly well his name is Dr. Joe Dispenza. I talk about this guy in our clinic all the time because he's the absolute guru when it comes to understanding how your thought processes will actually affect your physiological functions. E.g., like I say, if you even take yourself to that time where you think about the most stressful point in your life, if you think about that moment, you will be able to affect the way that your heart beats. By just physically thinking about something that stresses you out, it will naturally start to change that state in your body. Now, the polar opposite is true. If you can take yourself to a thought of pure happiness or bliss, or de-stress or no stress whatsoever, what will naturally happen is your physiology, your biology inside of your body will actually start to flip the other way as well. So it's got to be about balance. It's got to be about balance. And what we know is stress is probably the biggest cause of disease. And it is manageable. We can control it. But one of the things we know, actually, interestingly enough, is chiropractic is very good at switching on the rest and digest part of our nerve system. And stress and our environment is very good at turning on the fight and flight, the stress system. So what we want to do is we want to balance those two out. And if you need to learn a little bit more about how you can do that, we as chiropractors, physiotherapists, massage therapists are very good at helping people to deal with the stress that their body is going through, e.g. all the muscle tension that you build up as a result of being in a tense and heightened zone all the time, the levels of inflammation that start to occur due to hormone imbalances, naturally feeling better. If we get someone moving better, naturally they start to feel better because their serotonin, their endorphin levels start to balance out. And we can actually see what appears to be a very miraculous change in someone's health and their lifestyle. But really all it is going back down to the basic biology, breaking that down, helping people to understand that, and actually starting to be able to teach them how they can take steps. And it's always small steps in order to change that biology, change that physiology, and return to normal function. And that's where the magic starts to happen. Guys, it's been such a blessing to speak to you guys. I'm so sorry that I haven't jumped on for the last couple of days. It was a bank holiday weekend. I'm aware that, my head wasn't necessarily in the space. We had a lot of stuff going on in the office. We had lights being changed and we just had some work being done, and my attention got pulled into the office. So I apologize for not touching base with you guys over the last few days, but I just wanted to jump on and just talk about something that I find very interesting. If you want to learn more, you can obviously just send us a message on Facebook Messenger. You can probably find these videos, similar videos, on our YouTube channel. Equally, you can also find, we've got our weekly podcast that's being released every week. That's Coffee with the Chiropractor. That's with me, your host, Patrick Hogg. We're releasing those every week. We've also got our email. If you want any contact, you can jump back in. We are taking chiropractic appointments. We are just starting to take some new patient appointments. We are being able to communicate with any physio patients. So Ollie is starting to do consultations over the phone if you need us. Guys, get out, enjoy the sun, enjoy work if you're at work. If you're not at work, enjoy the time that you've got off. Enjoy spending time with your family. And guys, seriously, find some ways to de-stress. And if you can't find ways to de-stress, come speak to us. We'll find ways to help you de-stress. Take care. Another day from Complete Health.